scared, bro. I realized that I never even filmed the intro for this video, so some things aren't going to line up. As you can see, I got a fresh cut and the engine's out of the car, but I'm about to tell you that we're about to take the engine out of the car. So we already took the engine out of the car, but this video is going to be about taking the engine out of the car and rebuilding the head. I actually started filming this video. We had about 45 days left until Miata's at the gap. Today we are closer to 30 as of today. Today's June 29th, I think, June 28th, something like that. So June 28th, but as you guys know, we're leaving a couple days early, so we got about 32 days until we leave. And for those of you guys that have been following along, just want to give a huge shout out and thank you guys. I know that this season it's not as in-depth or as good as it was last year. We kind of just been trying to film as much as possible, but with the whole move and everything, it's been getting a little stressful, and we got a lot of stuff on our plate right now. As you guys know, the lift in the Miata is broken, so we got to fix that. And then the giveaway is just about to be finished up, so we got to do a couple things with this car to get it ready to go. We got to fix up this car so we could drive it out of here, and we're probably going to end up taking this one to the gap too, so we're going to see about that. But anyway, we got a lot of stuff going on. It's been very, very stressful, and we got to move out of the shop while doing all that stuff. So just hang in there with us, guys. We're gonna get back to being able to fully focus on the content very, very soon. All this stuff is gonna be done right before Miata's at the gap. So once we hit Miata's at the gap, it's gonna be like a huge vacation, and then we come back, and then we got to stress some more with figuring out what we're doing with all our stuff and getting into the new shop. However, it's going to be a fun time, and we're going to be bringing you guys along with us. So thank you guys for watching so far. Thank you guys for following along. Let's get on with the episode. So today I decided I wanted to pull the engine out of this car, and for those of you guys that are confused, wondering why are you pulling the engine out, I thought you tore down the engine in the last episode. Well, that was the original engine to this car, the one that we're putting back in. The one that we're taking out right now is not the original engine. We put this one in last year right before the gap. This engine ended up not being any good, but we do need to take all the accessories off of it and use those on the new engine, and we got to get this thing out to make space for the new engine. So here she goes. She's pretty much out of there, and that's that. She's out of here.
You got it out. Seriously.
So as I said, today we're going to be working on this head. This is the original head for the car. I do have the BP4W head over there, and I was thinking about just rebuilding that head and throwing it on. But the thing is that since we're doing like a really cheap engine rebuild right now, and I'm using the original engine to the car, I figure I'm just going to keep the engine all original, use the original head, and then we have the full BP4W block and head for a rebuild in the future. But for now, we're just going to work with this. You know, the extra little bit of power you get from the BP4W, it's not really going to bother me. I don't really care. I think it'll be cool to just know that I have the matching VIN engine in my car, which is really nothing. It's not really important at all, and really nobody gives a fuck about that. But we got the engine chilling, so that's what we're going to use. So we're going to fully disassemble this head, take everything off, take the cams off, take the valves out, take the lifters out. We got this cool little tool right here that we actually got from TikTok. I mean, I don't know if you'd call it a tool or not, but I'll show you how this thing works. Pretty much just like an organizer for all the pieces from the head. So we'll be able to put our cams right here, all our springs right here, all our lifters, our valves. You guys will see how it works. Pretty excited to actually use this. And then right here we have our Fly Miata tool. This is actually a really cool tool that I'm excited to use. I saw Nat Motorsports using this in one of his videos, and this is pretty much, again, I'll show you guys how this works, but this is a really cool tool from Fly Miata to be able to do your valve seals, take the valves out. It's basically just a valve spring installation tool made by Fly Miata, so this thing is gonna get a lot of use today. And once we tear it down, I'm gonna try to clean it up a little bit. We're gonna probably lap the valve seats, lap the valves just to get them cleaned up, get a nice seat on there. And then we've got some new valve seals going in, and then everything's gonna go back together. So again, not sure how much we're gonna get done today, but I would like to get done as much as possible because there's not much time at all. Clock is really ticking here, guys. So I'm gonna go grab a couple tools from the toolbox, start tearing this thing down, get everything on here, and then we will move on to the next steps from there. So I don't know about you guys. I assume if you guys are watching this, you guys probably feel the same way that I do, but I'm really, really, really excited for Miatas at the Gap. I mean, literally, I'm thinking about Miatas at the Gap all year long. I wish if Miatas at the Gap could just be an all-the-time thing, I definitely would. Like, if you guys are down, let me know. We could put some money together and we'll go buy Fontana Village. We could just all live there all year round. I mean, I'd be down. I don't know if you guys are, but I don't know. What we need, like a couple mil for that? $20 million? I don't know, something like that. But I think that would be pretty fucking lit. And to be honest, guys, I mean, all of us over here, me, Danny, Omar, we need this trip, guys. We really need this Miatas at the Gap trip because we've been getting really stressed lately. We've got a lot of stuff going on, but like the biggest thing is obviously the move. Like that shit just hit us out of nowhere, and we had no idea it was coming. Now, if you guys only watch our Road to the Gap content and you guys don't watch our other videos, then you might not know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the move. But long story short, we just got word from our landlord recently that we've got to move out of this shop literally 2 days before we leave for Miatas at the Gap, which is crazy. So like, I'm grateful that we at least have until Miatas at the Gap, which is nice. You know, at least we have as much time as we need to get ready for the Gap. But once we get back from the Gap, we're not going to be here anymore, guys. Working on a new shop. Hopefully that's going to work out. It's not as nice as this one, but it's definitely got its pluses. It's got its perks. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, when life knocks you down, you get back up and you keep going. And, you know, I'm glad that we're going to be able to take you guys along with us on this journey. You know, it's going to bring us really a lot closer to you guys because you guys are going to see us move. Like, when we first moved into this shop, like, we just started making videos while we were already moved in. Like, we moved into the shop and then we were like, you know what? We're going to start making videos. We're going to start making YouTube. And, you know, you guys never really got to see, like, the roots of it all. You guys never got to see where this all started. And where it all started was us just being in love with Miatas and doing Miata stuff all the time with our friends. Just Miata stuff all day long. I think the first time MPH actually got, like I had the idea of MPH was actually when we were at the Gap, like a couple years ago, and it was just Miata stuff the whole week, and it was just so fun. I was like, damn, I wish I could live that life every single day. Just do Miata shit all the time, work on Miatas, share it with the world, and look at us now, guys. It's what we're doing, and I couldn't be happier with it. Grateful for you guys that are watching, grateful for the opportunity we had at this shop, and I'm very grateful for whatever opportunities come to us in the future. I think these cams are just about ready to come off. Got all the bolts loosened up, so I'm gonna take off these caps, and we'll get to using this cool tool that I got sitting over here. And I'm pretty sure this goes without saying, but if you guys are taking apart your engine, just make sure you keep every single little piece in order of where it goes. You don't want to mix this stuff up. If you don't have this super fancy organizer tray like I do, you can just use like a pizza box or something. Works just as good. All right, so cams are off. Now I'm pulling out all the lifters. These, I'm not sure if we're gonna replace them, just clean them yet. Not sure yet, we'll see. But honestly, this organizer tray thing is pretty cool. I've never used something like that before. It's really not necessary, but it does help to keep everything organized because you got a spot for the cams, you got a spot for the lifters, you got a spot for the springs, and I'm not really sure where the retainers are gonna go. But I don't know, we gotta see where the retainers go because it doesn't look like there's a spot for that. The other thing is that it would be nice if there was a spot for the cam gears too, but again, not really a big deal. And then also, I guess if you had like a V8 or something, you would need 2 of these. But luckily, I only need 1. But got the cams off, lifters off, so now we get to use this Flying Miata tool and take off the springs. Excited to use that tool, honestly. And then my other slight complaint with this thing is that, I mean, realistically, I don't think there's anywhere to place the cam caps. Like, you would think that if it has all this stuff for everything, there would be a spot to put these cam caps somewhere. I mean, I guess I could just throw them on top of the cam, but, you know, it's really not the end of the world. It's not the biggest deal, but just something that I'm noticing. And at least on the Miata, all of them are marked, so you know which goes where. But still, like, it has a spot for everything else. Why is there no spot for the cam caps? Again, not the end of the world. I mean, I didn't pay for this thing. Company on TikTok just sent us it to test it out and make a video. So testing it, I'm using it. I do like it. Would I buy it? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see by the end of this video. It's gonna be nice to have a space to put the springs and the retainers. Now, those, I don't think it's so important for those to go back in the same spot, but rule of thumb, of course, it's always nice to keep everything where it goes. So this is definitely gonna help to keep everything organized. So let's keep tearing this thing down and fill this thing up all the way, and then we'll see how we really like it. All right, so let's crack open this Flying Miata spring installation tool. This is actually, like I said, I'm really excited to use this tool because there's a bunch of different tools for this on the market. I mean, most of the time you guys will see like the big C clamps. You know, they work, but this is probably gonna make it a lot easier. So, all right, so the way this tool works is it sets right down on top of where the cam caps go. You get your cam cap screws and you bolt it in. I might have to get a better angle for you guys to see what's actually going on in here, so I'll do that in a sec. But then you're just gonna snug these down. You don't need to tighten them, you don't need to torque them. Just snug them down, just a smidge. No ugga-duggas on there. All right, I did one ugga-dugga by accident, oh well. Now before I go ahead and show you how this works, show you what else comes in the kit. I think it was about 80 bucks, which is gonna be worth it in the long run. So can't complain with that. Flying Miata makes good stuff, we all know that. This is another piece of the tool. This is what's gonna push your valve springs down. Show you that in a second. And then it also comes with some grease. And that's pretty much all that comes with it besides this screwdriver, which is that way you have the magnet for the retainers. So it's pretty cool that they include that too. I mean, again, that and that, they didn't really have to include those two things, but it's cool that they did. So this video, by the way, is not sponsored by Flying Miata at all. I wish it was, it would be cool, but if anyone from Flying Miata sees this video and you guys want someone to sponsor to test out some products, I mean, by all means, hit us up. We'll be seeing you guys at the Gap. That would be freaking awesome. Now, I think it's gonna actually be a little difficult to show you guys exactly what's going on in here, but I think you guys will get the point. Pretty much, this piece right here is gonna sit down in there. That's gonna push your spring down, and then this bolt is just gonna screw into that hole. All right, and I'm just gonna tighten it down a little. So I'll try to get one or two on camera for you guys, and then the rest I'm just gonna blast through them and probably do a time lapse or some shit. But it's gonna take a little time to get through all these. But let's just see how the first one goes. Just realized it wasn't recording, but I pretty much had to go up under here and just push the valve back up, and that kind of popped it out where it needed to go. You might have to use a mallet, but it's probably not the right way to do that. Probably gonna lose your keepers if you do that. So now, I don't know if you guys can see what's going on in there, but I'm gonna use this little fancy magnetic screwdriver that Flying Miata gave me. Okay, so can't fit it in there, so I gotta back this bolt out a little bit. I mean, the keepers are actually already off, so, but, okay, there we go. Got one of them. Gotta be very careful with these guys. All right, got the other one. Now let's pull this thing all the way out. And now we can get the rest of that out of there. There's our little, I don't know, top. I don't know what you would call it. Got our spring. And pull the valve out the bottom. And there we go. We got our valve, we got our spring, our top washer. I honestly don't know what it's called right now. And we got our keepers. So let's get those all over to the organizer tray. So now we can take our valve, pop it right there. It's got the space for the spring there, and another weird part of the design, I guess, because no, that's fine. Just put that there, put the spring on top. So that's pretty cool. Now we got the keepers, but there's really no, I mean, I guess you could put the keepers like in this little, oh, is that for the keepers maybe? The little slot right there?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so we'll put the keepers there, so. All right, so pretty cool. I guess now let's fill this thing up with everything else on that head. I'm just gonna blast through the rest of these guys just to get them done. As I'm working on this, we got Danny over here working on the auto connection. trying to get this thing running so we get it out of here. But
put the brakes on it.
Yeah, it's got no brakes on it. It runs good, it just has no brakes. We think it runs good.
No, we came to a conclusion that it does run good. It was just bad gas that the car had this whole time.
Oh yeah, it had bad gas.
And it was misfiring and running like shit and throwing hell of smoke. But after we put fresh gas in it, it just was running and idling perfect and no smoke. So
yeah, and I also fucked
yeah.
up. I backed into it with the 4Runner.
It's not terrible, but at least we know that this wrap is going to be coming off at some point, and we're going to be doing like our MPH style stuff on there. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's the plan, guys. We're gonna take off this puke green and do a livery on this thing. We're planning to put the MPH logos on it. We're thinking, I don't know what color yet we're gonna wrap it, but MPH logos, wrap it a different color.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's gonna look sick.
All right, so anyway, guys, I was having an issue where the keepers are staying in the retainers, and I found this little pink piece of paper that came in the kit. It basically says, important notice, before you start, remove cam cat, loosen retainers and keepers by lightly tapping the retainers with a hammer and a 16mm long socket. This will loosen the retainers and release tension, which will make it easier to complete the job. Not doing so may bend, strip, or snap bolts. So good thing we read that. And then that also just reminded me that these things that I couldn't remember the name of, those are the retainers. The little guys are the keepers. So let's see if that actually works. Just gonna, I guess, tap the top of the retainer just to, that's supposed to loosen up the keepers. So let's see. I don't know if I tapped it hard enough or not, but let's give it a go. And then also it said somewhere to actually grease these thread holes, which I did not do yet. So let me do that. Just get some grease in there. It was nasty green grease. Ugh. Yeah. Let's see if that makes it come out now. Let's see if Fly Miata really knows what they're talking about. Okay. Now let's tap this valve up. Still stuck. So I don't know. Maybe I gotta hit it harder. You know what? I don't want to bore you guys with me fumbling with this, so I'm just gonna get this all done, put it on the time lapse, and come back to you guys when it's done. So it took a couple tries for me to really understand how this tool works, but it actually works really well. And as it turns out, Flying Miata does know what they're talking about. Pretty much, you just got to get the tool on there, compress the valve spring, and then tap that valve up with a hammer. I was a little scared to hit it with the hammer at first, but a couple good twacks, that valve came right out, and we were able to get both sides done. And keep in mind, guys, that this is my first time doing anything like this. So I'm a complete beginner when it comes to rebuilding engines. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But with this tool, it honestly was a breeze to get the head disassembled. And reassembly was pretty much just the same, so we'll be getting into that a little bit later in the video. And like I said, this video is not sponsored by Flying Miata or anyone for that matter, but I definitely recommend this tool if you guys are going to be taking apart your head or anything along those lines. All right, so I'm on the last one now, and I kind of got the method figured out. I wouldn't say I've got it down to a science, but pretty much once I got like 2 of them, the rest of them got a lot easier. Pretty much you're gonna want to take like a 16 or 17 millimeter socket and just tap on each tops of the retainers, and then that's gonna just loosen up the keepers. And then once you got the tool on there and you got it compressed, you actually are gonna want to take a mallet and just tap from the bottom. Now I'm holding up here because the spring, the keepers do go flying, but just 1 or 2 light taps, pops right out. All right, and now the other thing that happens is that the keepers fall back into place when you release the tension. So take this flathead that they gave us, just get them out of the way so they don't fall back into place. Loosen this up a bit. All right, now I can get the magnet in there, keeper. Pop it down right there, and get the other one, pop her down on the tray, and now we're done with this tool for now. So I can pop those out. And now everything's loose, ready to go. So now we got the head fully disassembled, got everything here on the organizing tray, and everything is out of here. Just got to take off this coolant neck still, And then we gotta get this thing cleaned up. This thing is very, very filthy. I think I'm just gonna start power washing it and then try to get it dried as much as possible. I think that's gonna be the easiest way of attack here. Obviously, it'd be nice to bring it to a machine shop and get it hot tanked, but we're doing this without any machine shops, guys. We're doing it the cheap way, and we're gonna see how it comes out. So let's get this thing degreased and power washed, and then we'll see what the next steps are gonna be. So I started degreasing and power washing the head, and I don't know if this is the best way to really go about this, but I figured it would be the easiest and fastest way to get it as clean as possible. If you are going to go ahead and power wash your head and get it all wet, just make sure that afterwards you get that thing as dry as you possibly can, because it's very easy for these components to rust, and the last thing you want is rust inside your head. So the head's nice and cleaned up, very, very dry. We got all the pieces for it right there. And it's looking pretty good. Honestly, cleaned up really nice with the degreaser, power washer, a little bit of scrubbing. But under here, as you can tell, it's still really black and dirty, and the sealing surface really doesn't look that good. So we got to take care of that. So that's what we're going to do, something similar to what we did with the block over there. We're actually just going to sand this down essentially. And then if you take a look at the seating surfaces for the valves, they have a lot of gunk on them. So we're going to lap these valves, which is basically going to clean up the sealing surface. Going to try to get rid of some of this carbon in here, but honestly not really too worried about that. Biggest thing is going to be to get the deck as flat as possible, smooth, so that way when we get the head gasket on there, seals really well. But it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to get this thing sanded down next, finish cleaning this thing up, and then we'll be able to do the valve seals. Probably going to have to clean up a lot of these valves over here. I mean, the intake valves aren't too bad. Exhaust valves, pretty grimy. Really, let's see. Yeah, really grimy exhaust valves. So probably get those in the ultrasonic cleaner, something like that. Clean those up. See if we're gonna reuse these lifters or not. Maybe if we got some new ones lying around, we'll use those. But I don't see why we can't use these. Just clean them up. Other than that, we're good to go. So we're moving on. And right about here is when things started to get just a little bit ghetto. Basically, I attempted to glue some sandpaper onto some glass and use that to sand down the head and get it as flat as possible. Now, it did kind of work, but the sandpaper really was not working with me, and my back was killing me. So eventually, I just gave up. All right, so I've been sanding this thing down on the floor over here, and my back is killing me. So I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to go with the same way that we did the block. So as you can see, it is cleaning it up, but there's definitely a lot of inconsistencies in there, and there's a couple areas that are still not as clean as I would like them to be. Now that could be an indicator that the head is not as flat as I would like it to be, or it could just be that the glass that I'm using is not very flat. So still got this one set up from when we did the block, so I'm gonna just go at it with this one for a little. Probably change the sandpaper out. I've been hitting it with 120. I might hit it with some 80 grit just to really knock down some more. But I'm gonna go with this method rather than the one on the floor for now, just because that's a lot of work. My back is killing me, and it's not really working as well as I would like it. This one, it has the paper from edge to edge, so I can just However, I do want to see about switching it out to some new sandpaper. Just sucks because this adhesive that we used is very strong, so that paper doesn't like to rip off, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So we're sanding again. Different method this time though, and this method did work a little bit better. However, if you're going to do it like this, the one thing I didn't realize is that now I'm going to deal with sandpaper, dust, and potentially metal shavings falling inside my coolant and oil passages. So just keep that in mind because I had to spend a lot of time cleaning all of that out. So I've been sanding this thing for a very long time, and I'm honestly not super happy with the results. I'll flip it on its side so that you guys can see it. But as you can tell, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but some of it looks really good, the parts that got sanded well. But we do have a couple low spots on there, and those low spots are not really sanding too well. So that's an indicator that this head is really not perfectly flat. So I think that's as good as we're going to be able to get it without going to a machine shop. Now this is one of the parts of a job like this where, you know, it would make sense to actually go get it done right, but like we're doing it the cheap way. So hopefully it works, and that's what head gaskets are for, right? So hopefully you put the head gasket on there, it's going to seal it, and it's going to be good to go. Ideally, we want this thing as flat as possible, but clearly in this case it's not 100% perfectly flat, but in theory, it should be better than what it was. It wasn't leaking before. Everything was sealed up good. So hopefully when we put it back together, everything will still be sealed and good to go. But I think that's about as good as we're going to be able to get this head for now. Now we got to put it back together, and reassembly is going to be pretty much essentially the same as disassembly. So we got some boring stuff coming up, and this video is getting a little bit long. I know you guys can't wait to see this engine go in the car. I can't wait to see it get in the car either. So I'm going to reassemble it and just blast through it real quick. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what I'm doing, but basically we'll get it done. And then we'll see you guys once the head's all reassembled and get this thing installed in the car. Like I said, I got some boring stuff to take care of, and that boring stuff is going to include cleaning up all this stuff. So I'm not going to go super crazy trying to make it look brand new. I did send these through the ultrasonic cleaner, and it did not really do the best job. They're still pretty dirty, but the seating surface is good and the sealing surface is good. So that's what matters the most. So those are probably still going to be a little dirty. Probably going to clean up the lifters. I think I might have a set of brand new lifters somewhere, so if I do, I'll use those. The valve seating surfaces are pretty gunked up, a little bit pitted, not really super clean. So what we're going to do is we got this valve grinding compound, and we're going to do a process called lapping the valves, which is basically going to clean up the seating surface on the valves and the seating surface on the head. So going to get that done on each one of these, and then we have the valve seals that we got to put in. Once the valve seals are in, then we can go ahead and reassemble all this stuff. So I'll see you guys once that's finished up. So I just blasted right through this because, like I said, this video is getting long. We're running out of time here, but anyway, the head's fully assembled. We changed out the valve seals, we lapped the valves and put the springs in, put the lifters in. We fully cleaned up and rebuilt the lifters, and now the cams are on. Everything's good to go. Torque to spec. Now let's get this thing bolted onto the block. As I might have mentioned earlier in this video, I'm not super happy with the way these sealing surfaces came out. I mean, that's what you get when you do it in your garage and don't go to a machine shop. But I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've had to just change a head gasket or take a head off and put it back on. And I didn't even go through the full extent of sanding this down on the block or on the head. So the fact that we did that, I think, would make it better than not doing it. And I think it's all gonna seal up pretty well. So definitely gonna be crossing my fingers with this one, because could go bad or it could go good, but what are you gonna do? I'm going to be swapping over all the parts from this engine onto that one. Besides the seals, we're not going to be reusing the seals. But pretty much when I put this engine in last year and it never got used, I got all new stuff. I got new timing covers, new timing belt kit, new water pump, new alternator, new starter, new pulleys, whole bunch of new stuff on there. All this stuff's just going to get transferred right over onto that one. I'll probably put a little time lapse and be doing it just so I can do it quick. Transmission is still on there, so that's going to be nice to pull off. It's way easier to pull a transmission when it's not in the car. We got to put the intake manifold, fuel rail, coil packs, everything that's on here is going on to here. All right, trans is coming off. Oh yeah, look at that brand new clutch in there, literally never even used. Probably got like 1 mile on it. Got pretty much, for the most part, everything transferred over. A couple small little things we still got to take care of. We got all the accessories on there, intake manifolds, fuel rail. We don't have the valve cover on there yet. We're going to get that on there soon. But next thing I'm going to do is the clutch. This clutch is pretty much brand new. Like I said, I put it in last year when I put that engine in, and this car has seen maybe 2 miles since then, if that. So flywheel, completely brand new. Pressure plate, completely brand new. And clutch disc is also completely brand new, so it's nice that I didn't have to spend any more money on that. So I'm gonna get that off the stand onto the hoist, get that clutch on there, get the trans on there, and then the next step is gonna be getting that thing back in the car. So I got no idea what happened, but I had 2 cameras recording. Somehow one of them, the memory card ran out, and then the other one just turned off somehow. So there's actually no footage of putting the engine in, but that's all right, because you guys have seen that a million times anyway. What do you think, Omar? Is it gonna start on the first crank?
I think it's gonna start, but the real question is, will it leak at some point? I don't know.
I mean, so far it's not leaking.
So far.
So it's all filled up with oil, no coolant in there yet, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
And Danny, what you thinking? First crank or not?
I think it'll start, but are we gonna hear noises inside the car, in the motor, or are we gonna see leaks? We'll see right now.
So I actually don't even have a battery in there right now, so I gotta use this jump box. Probably not gonna be able to leave it running at the moment, but we'll at least be able to start it and see if it starts. And then I gotta go get a battery, so let's get to it. I'm scared, bro. I'm honestly fucking scared. First time rebuilding an engine, doing it very cheap, no machining or anything like that.
We'll see. Like I said, it's probably gonna start, but we'll see what happens after it starts.
Let's go, first crank, baby. I told you.
It really runs good.
It's gonna turn off in a second because of the jump box. A little bit of lifter tick. It's already got a little oil to start flowing.
There shouldn't be lifter tick because you did clean the lifter.
Yeah, I know, but they gotta
Yeah, once the oil.
Come on, bro. You gotta rip it.
I'm saying.
No, don't rip it. Yeah, you gotta break it in.
gotta broken in. No smoke coming out the back, so that's great.
Leaks.
No leaks.
Look like it.
Let's go, baby.
You did good. You did good so far.
See, bro, I told you, shit easy. Come on. We should be rebuilding these motors left and right. Alright. That did it, huh?
Let's go, baby.
Alright.
It started on the first crank, so I'm really excited about that. There's a lot of lifter tick, which I'm pretty sure is going to go away once I start driving it. There's still some smoke coming out the tailpipe, but that's all just the oil that's from the assembly and stuff. All the oil still in the cylinders, stuff like that. So all this stuff's got to burn away. We got to break it in a little bit. So before we can break it in, we've got a whole lot of work to do, and I'll show you guys real quick what we got to do. Obviously, we got to put the whole front end on. We've got the Racing Beat bumper up there, and then somewhere up there in the deep storage, we've got some Racing Beat side skirts to go with the Racing Beat bumper. Got some brand new fenders going on. We got to finish putting everything on here pretty much. We got to put the Ober fenders back on, put the suspension in. Obviously, we got no suspension right now, but that'll be fixed soon. And we got to do the whole entire interior as well, which nothing crazy, just got to put it together. I was planning to vinyl wrap this thing. However, I think with everything going on right now with the move and everything, probably not going to have time. So this car is going to be going down black, and the paint is not in the best condition, but you know what? It is what it is. As long as it's driving good, that's all that matters to me. So very hyped up for that. I'm glad that started, especially on the first crank. So that's going to do it for this video. I know this was a really long video, but this was like the most important step and the thing that mattered the most. So stay tuned for the next video. We're going to put this car back together, make it look nice, and then it's going to be ready for the gap. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.